Example 2. This slight more difficult problem this time. What makes this more difficult is a binomial in the denominator. So when we're getting rid of fractions, we're going to get more terms. All right, but the same basic idea is going on here. This is exactly the same structure. We have a non-fraction equals a non-fraction times a couple fractions in parentheses, right? So like I said before, the first priority here, I do not want parentheses in these problems. I don't even care what it says. It says fine. See, I don't care about that yet because I need fractions and parentheses to go away first. So xp is going to stay xp. M is a non-fraction being multiplied through here, so M is simply multiplying the numerator, so each numerator is going to become M times bigger. Each denominator is going to be unaffected by this product. B times M on top over 1 plus C. M times A on top over P. So again, M is a non-fraction, so the denominators do not get affected by that product. Simply the numerators get M times bigger. Notice I put the 1 plus C in parentheses to remind myself that's going to be treated as one object. So if that says 1 plus C and this happened to say C, it doesn't, but if it happened to say C, C and 1 plus C aren't the same. So C times 1 plus C would be the least common denominator. Alright, in this case, the least common denominator is P times 1 plus C. You could just easily put 1 plus C times P if you want. Make sure the 1 plus C is in parentheses. I personally like to put my binomials in front, parentheses in the back. I like that order personally. Once again, I'm doing product. So this times this, this times this, this times this. And I multiply what I can and leave alone what I can't. All right? Now, I'm going to do this in 2 steps right now. This is a step you can maybe cut corners on down the road, but I would say right now this is probably a step you want to put in. xp times p times 1 plus c makes xp squared times 1 plus c. Don't try and distribute that as you're multiplying it out. Just go ahead and leave it in parentheses form. xp times p is easy enough to make xp squared, but keep the times 1 plus c at that point. When I do bm over 1 plus c times p times 1 plus c, 1 plus c cancels 1 plus c, I get bmp. And when I do am over p times 1 plus c, p cancels p, leaving me with plus am times 1 plus c. Again, I recommend right now go ahead and put it like that. Allow yourself one extra step to distribute to get the parentheses gone again. But again, this is a step I can eventually go from here down to what's going to be below here and be pretty good at it. But again, through practice, don't just immediately go there. So what's left to do is to fix this. It's another distributive property. I'm going to do xp squared plus xp squared c. bmp is fine the way it's at. It is. And am times 1 is am. And am times c is amc. I wasn't as concerned about alphabetical order that time as I was before, but again, if you want to always do alphabetical order, that's fine. I just want to make sure I got all the right terms. Notice, because we had a binomial denominator, we ended up with 5 terms here instead of 3. So again, as the denominators become more and more complicated, you're going to get more and more terms. With that in mind, though, notice that this looks pretty much like the last one did. A bunch of terms, no fractions, no parentheses. That's where I want to get every single time in these problems. At that point, that's when I care about this. Find C. So at this point, anything containing C is more important than everything else. So xp squared c has a c in it, amc has a c in it, and that's it, right? So just a little rearrangement of terms. I'm going to take my amc over to the left, and I'm going to move the xp squared over to the right. By moving those 2 terms, everything with c is going to be on the left, everything without c is going to be on the right. So what happens, let's make those moves happen. xp squared c is staying on the left, it stays positive. amc is sliding over to the left, it becomes negative. bmp is staying on the right, it stays positive. am is staying on the right, it stays positive. And xp squared is moving to the, or sorry, xp squared, yeah, is moving to the right, becomes negative. close enough. All right. So xp squared c stayed left, positive. AMC moved left, it becomes negative. These two stayed right, positive. Xp squared moved right, became negative. The two terms that moved are in red. They changed signs. The three terms in black didn't move. They stayed the same sign. All right. Once I've done that isolation thing, I can put my hand here. Everything on one side has C, what we're looking for. Everything on the other side doesn't have C. Okay, we've already gotten them away, right? So now we've got our important people hanging out with some other people that are not quite so important, but they want to hang out with them, right? So then the important people say, hey, get away from us, not so important people. So they get factored out, right? When I factor that out, nothing happens to the other side. You rewrite it, but it didn't change. And then top, bottom. So C equals top, BMP, plus AM minus XP squared over bottom, XP squared minus AM. Be careful about reducing fractions. XP squared, pluses and minuses, you can't reduce pieces of addition and subtraction. So AM, they don't cancel. If the same exact letter happened in all five, by all means. P, if both of these had a P, then we could take a P out. All right? But again, every single term has to contain the letter you want to factor out or divide by. Nothing like that happens here, so that's the best answer you can get.